now, preview time. So let's take a look at what's coming your way.
And now for a taste of things to come.
What's going on, everybody? Thank you for joining me here once again for another brand new installment of Renegades Reviews, exclusively here as always on the Casa D18 Studios YouTube channel. I, of course, am your host, the Renegade J.J. Williams, thanking each and every one of you for coming back and joining me here in the newly remodeled theater. Now, for today's film, we're going to take a look at a Netflix original Christmas movie that premiered on November 19th of this year. Netflix, like Hallmark and Lifetime, has become notorious for these over the last 5 to 10 years, with a new Christmas movie being released virtually every week between November 1st and Christmas Day. Now, today's selection is called Champagne Problems, and it stars Minka Kelly, Tom Woznicka, Sean Omsing, Flula Borg, Astrid Whitnell, and Thibault de Montalembert. And I apologize to any of you whose name I butchered. Now, our movie opens during a meeting of the Roth Group, TRG, where Sidney Price, played by Minka Kelly, suggests that her company gets into the champagne business. So, her boss, Marvin Roth, played by Mitchell Mullen, asks her to go to Paris in order to buy the Chateau Cassel. Before departing for France, Sidney's sister Skylar, played by Maeve Courtier-Lilly, extracts a pinky promise from Sidney that while she's there, she takes one night off in Paris to see the city. Upon her arrival in Paris, Sidney checks out a bookstore called Les Etoiles, where a French gentleman, Henri, played by Tom Wozniacki, directs her to the self-help section as she claims she's looking for books for her sister. He admits to her that he doesn't really work there, but he does want to eventually open a bookstore that also serves wine. Henry makes an offer to guide Sidney around the city, and she hems and haws about it for a few minutes, but she does accept the offer. Henry takes her to see the Eiffel Tower, treats her to a crepe and some hot wine, and he says that one of his biggest regrets was that he misplaced a book entitled Le Petit Prince that was gifted to him by his mother, who died when he was 6. Sidney then shares with Henry that she had been married for 2 years, which ended when her husband cheated on her. The next morning, Sidney arrives late for her meeting with Hugo Cassel, the owner of the Chateau Cassel, played by Thibault de Montalembert. And again, I apologize if I'm butchering these names. And Sidney is shocked when she finds Henry there. Henry just happens to be Hugo's son. Also at the meeting are Roberto Salazar and Otto Moeller, Sidney's competitors to the acquisition of Chateau Cassel, played by Sean Omsine and Flula Borg, respectively. And also in attendance is Bridget Laurent, played by Astrid Whitnell, who is Hugo's business partner. All of them are invited to spend a couple of days at the Chateau Cassel. Marvin calls Sidney after the meeting and is verbally very unhappy with her lack of aggressiveness. So he decides to send another employee to Paris, Ryan Garner, played by Xavier Samuel, in order to try and assist her in the purchase of the chateau. Meanwhile, at the Chateau Cassel, the guests are served wine and cheese and taken to see a Christmas celebration in Paris with fireworks. This disturbs Sidney a little bit as she is lactose intolerant. The group visits the vineyard the following day and aids in the pruning of the grapevines. And they also have a Christmas tree decorating contest. Later that day, Hugo takes a walk with Sidney and shows the location around the chateau where he got married to his late wife Sophia and where Henry was born on site. Later, while chasing the family dog, Sidney finds the book, Le Petit Prince, that Henry had misplaced all those years ago near a wine cellar. When Ryan arrives at Chateau Cassel, he reveals to Sidney that TRG is planning to ultimately hand the chateau over to the Japanese company Takimi, making a $50 million profit in the process, and he congratulates her for her support. In typical rom-com fashion, Henry overhears the conversation and is visibly upset, but leaves before Sidney voices her opposition to Ryan's scheme. Ryan then threatens to get Sidney fired if she doesn't go through with the proposal. Sidney goes outside and sees Hugo working on his car and divulges the strategy of TRG to him, then packs her bags and leaves. The next day, Hugo sells the Chateau Cassel to Roberto, causing Ryan to leave in a huff. Hugo tells Henry that it was because Sidney had warned him about the plan that had been hatched by TRG, and Henry realizes that he's made a terrible mistake with her. He drives to her hotel, but discovers that she has already checked out. Thankfully, the hotel concierge asks him to try the Les Etoiles bookstore, where he had first met her. He finally makes up with her, and a year later, at the Chateau Casa, Henry and Sidney are celebrating Christmas with Hugo, Brigitte, Roberto, Otto, and Skylar as our movie comes to its close. Now, full transparency here. Once again, the entire reason I chose to watch this one, as some of the other ones, is honestly just because it was a new, free Christmas movie to watch on Netflix. I knew absolutely none of the cast beforehand, so there was no real draw there. The movie was cute, everything you would expect in a traditional Christmas love story. I guessed the fact that Henry was going to be the son of the company owner before it was revealed. And it's formulaic, you know. Of course he would be. I thought that the actors that portrayed Sidney and Henry had amazing chemistry with each other. I would actually love to see them do more projects with each other because there's something there that's almost real. Because of that, I gave Champagne Problems 4 out of 5 snowflakes. Because again, predictable doesn't always mean bad. It was solid. But tell me, what do you guys think of Champagne Problems? Have you seen it? Let me know. Leave your thoughts in the comments below. Let's have that conversation, that discussion, that debate, that interaction, that discourse, that engagement that I'm always longing for with you, my loyal viewers. Make sure you give the video a thumb up and leave a comment of some sort, as thumbsing up the videos and commenting will help boost my videos in the YouTube algorithm and help me get seen by more and more people, who will then discover the Casa D18 Studios, Renegades Reviews, and my other shows. So until next time, when we bring you another episode of Renegades Reviews, exclusively here on the Casa D18 Studios YouTube channel, I, of course, have been your host, the Renegade JJ Williams, thanking each and every one of you for joining me and tuning in, and I will catch you guys next time.